I actually wanted to ask about the greatest Royal Rumble. I'm always fascinated about Royal Rumble matches.
Yeah.
And like how is, I mean, I know that's the only Royal Rumble in WWE you were in. How
Right.
was that put together? How did that maybe differ from traditional battle royals in WWE? Because that one seems like it would take a little bit longer, but I've had other people say, well, it wasn't that bad. It was like, I think it was Sin Cara that was telling me, no, it wasn't that bad. There was a formula that they followed to make it happen. But what do you remember about that?
Yeah, I'm kind of going to go with Jorge there and say that there was a formula that they very much followed, where it was like they knew we were going to line up certain guys and then those guys were going to get eliminated. But for me, it was easy because here's a scoop. They came right in and they were like, all right, Mike, I don't remember what number I was, a fifth, sixth, maybe out of 12. I have no idea. But they go, you have the Bushwhacker spot. And I went, sweet, awesome. And everyone knew what that was. I went, so hold on. You flew me away from my 2-week-old daughter so I could come to do the Bushwhacker. Okay. Thank God you're paying me a lot of money for that, because yeah. And I remember like I was getting ready. I was oiling up in the trainer room, and Orton, who's always been so good to me. I don't know why, but he's always gone above and beyond and just been so kind to me. He's like, hey, what? Like, he was always the guy that was like, I hope you get a spot. Like, I hope you see. And like, and so I'm oiling up, I'm getting ready, and Orton comes in. He's like, oh, what are you doing in the Rumble? I was like, I got the Bushwhacker spot. And he just stopped and he went, really? And I went, yeah. He's like, I was like, I'm going to make the most of it. He was like, it's all you can do. You know, it was just one of those things. But like, so I was just like, I'm going to come out. I talked to Mark Henry. I was like, here's what we're going to do. Cool. Whatever. And at the end of the day, you gotta laugh it off and make the most of it.
So it's funny you mentioned this. I collect these Rumble stories, and like every year I'm doing an Inside the Royal Rumble feature. I spoke to the Bushwhackers for the next edition. So I'm going to be able to group this in like a chapter. And I mean, you all did get pretty big paydays for that though, right?
Yeah, no, they took care of us. And then it progressively started getting to the point where guys were like, well, we're not going to go over it. I mean, once all the news started to break and all that stuff, a lot of guys were kind of like, we're not going over unless you pay us more. Cause a lot of guys didn't feel safe, or a lot of guys didn't want to, cause they felt wrong. I was one of them. I was like, I don't feel comfortable with what went down anymore. And it's like, you have to make this worth my while as a dad. If I'm going to leave my kids, it's got to be worth my while.
Do you remember the sumo guy that came in right after you?
Yes.
That was very random.
It's so random. But so what I've heard is they wanted Yokozuna.
Yes.
What I heard is they wanted Yokozuna, and someone had to explain to the prince that he was no longer alive. So they were like, just get any sumo wrestler.
So when I heard that, I told Falaba, I was like, you better be telling Impact, pony up the dough, because I'm in demand. I can pull off Yokozuna.
Yeah.
I can make
they were
that
also going to do a Hornswoggle match too, that they ended up cutting. So they actually brought over a guy his name's Robbie Arujo, who's a independent wrestler. They flew him over there and he did nothing. He was supposed to wrestle Hornswoggle, flew him over there. He did absolutely nothing.
I didn't know that at all. I know who you're talking about. Because his gimmick is that he's the giant, Robbie the Giant Arujo. I remember.
I think he did JBL, or JWL or whatever they were doing at the time. Yes. But yeah, they brought him over and then they just completely canned it.